Hello, Church at Redstone. I'm so glad that you are joining us on this 5-week study of the book of John. I'm really looking forward to it. John is one of my very favorite books of the Bible, and I hope that you will get a lot out of how we approach the book of John. That maybe you'll find something new there, or maybe if you've never read it before, certainly it's all new, but I hope that it's good. These videos we're going to use to just kind of elaborate a little bit on some of the things in your study guide and some of the things that we talk about on Sunday mornings during our sermon series. This particular week we're looking at John chapter 1. We're looking at what happened in this early part of the gospel. And I was reading about John the Baptist and thinking about his life and what he had what his role was in the coming of Christ. And of course, John was a very well-known preacher. People came to him from all over to hear what he had to say there at the Jordan River. And people would come to him. Some of the religious leaders of the day would come to John and they'd say, "John, who are you?" They wanted to know, "John, are you the Christ? Are you Elijah? Are you the prophet?" They had these great hopes of these great leaders emerging for Israel and being deliverers, being people who would liberate them. And John just said to every question, "No, I'm not." John pointed around to him and he said, "I'm not, but there's one among you who is." John says, "One among you whom I'm not even worthy to untie his sandals." John diminished himself in a way. I was at the church the other day working up on the third floor office, and it gets warm up there, so sometimes we'll open the window. And of course, there's lots of people up and down Redstone Boulevard, and one of the things that I have it's a real blessing and a curse at the same time to have to listen to some of the conversations that take place on the sidewalk just outside the entrance of the church. It just comes to you. And I was listening to a couple of guys who were out there talking about business stuff. I could tell they were businessmen and they were on vacation together, and they were talking. One of them said, "Well, I was in Redstone a few years ago, and that property just right next to the church," he pointed to it and he said, "Did you know that piece of property, that old hotel was on the market a few years ago for $700,000. And the guy next to him said, "$700,000? No way." He said, "Oh yeah, $700,000. Well, how could they possibly have the cash flow to support an asking price like that?" They started talking about it, and the first gentleman, he said, "Well, I was at a real estate conference not long ago, and the speaker was telling us about what successful real estate properties have, some of the attributes, and there's 3 of them, and the guy could only remember 2, and I'll only share with you one because I thought it was interesting. The man said that a key attribute for a piece of property that really generates good income is if it is kind of in the center of things, if it has a wonderful location, just kind of a dynamite location." Of course, for me, I look at Redstone and I look at the mountains and just the beauty, and I say, "Well, this is a dynamite location." But the man said, "In Redstone, Colorado, it's just too far. It's just too far out here. It's just too far away from things. It's too far out on the periphery. It's not a value because it's too far from where the action is." And in the business world, you want to be in the middle of where the action is. In our culture, you want to be in the middle. You want the attention on you. And it's interesting what John the Baptist does. They come to John the Baptist, and he's in the middle of this crowd, and some very important people had come to ask him some questions. And John the Baptist was there, and he just said, "I am not." He made a conscious choice to move to the periphery. He made a conscious choice to move out of the center of attention and to point to the one who deserved the attention. John knew that for a Christian, Jesus is the center, and that the blessing comes out of the center to those of us who are on the periphery who are pointing to Him. So I want you to think about that this week as you study John chapter 1, as you have your discussion with your small group. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's thought-provoking. God bless you.